Hi, Debbie Nicholson speaking, and I just wanted to go on with my little story about this diagnosis of bowel cancer. And he was supposed to be working for a week down here in Picton, but we were up and down to the hospital in Wellington for the next month. Well, not even a month, it was 2 or 3 weeks really, and we went back on the Monday, had some more tests done, and next thing we had to come back here to Picton, but only to be called back to go for something else on the Thursday, which is only 3 days later, to talk to the specialist. And that's when he gave Keith the news that there was a suspicion of some cancer in his bowel. Well, I didn't know what to say, I didn't know what to think. I thought, well, I can't be depressed now, I've got to be here to support him. And I willed my mind to get out of that depression mode. I don't know how I did it, but I did. And I feel very proud of myself because I just pushed my own self aside and was fully there for him. This man had never been sick. I mean, my files at the hospital and the doctors are inches and inches thick, whereas his are non-existent really. And so no, I thought, no, I've got to be there for him. And I'm really proud of myself because I did manage to push myself away and just be there for my husband. And so we thought, well, what happens next? And he said, you go home, you get ready, pack your bag, and you will come in. He says, I can do it on this such and such day, or this such and such day. We will decide over the next staff meeting, and we'll call you back in, and just you be ready to come in. And so we did just that. We came back to Picton. He wasn't sad about it, well, he didn't seem to be sad about it. He just thought, well, they said they'd caught it very early, so let's go do this. So he told the boss, well, I can't work because I think I'm going to have to go to hospital. They're going to call me in soon, and it'll be at least 2 weeks, and while I'm in hospital, and then of course it'll be 6 weeks recovery. So anyway, so for the next 8 weeks we knew we were not going to be able to work for this firm that we'd come down here to work for 1 week. We had been working for them for 15 years anyway, so, but up in Wellington, so it didn't really matter. They knew his work history, they knew his work ethic, they knew he wasn't putting this on. And so they did call us in. They rang us the next day and said, we'll have you up here on Tuesday. And so it was a very, very short time from telling us that it was piles. And because of his persistence, because he went every day before we left Paihakari, he'd go down to the Puruwa Hospital and demand to see somebody else, to give him a second opinion, demand. And even though they wouldn't let him have somebody, and they kept telling him, you're all right, it's only piles, go home, it must have started registering with some of them that maybe this man might not be right. And so the decision to come down to Picton was made. We came down, but while we were making that decision, I think that the hospital authorities were starting to think about all these visits they were getting from this Mr. Nicholson, and so maybe they should look into it a bit more. And so it wasn't very long after that we were suddenly in hospital, and we were able to stay at the Margaret Stewart House, which is a little house for cancer people being treated at the hospital that's on the grounds. And we didn't have to pay any money towards that, and because we were coming from Picton, we were able to take advantage of this accommodation. And so it was wonderful because I didn't have to stress about driving to Paihakari and back every night and morning, which I would not have been able to handle probably, because I don't think I would have had the strength to do that. But Heavenly Father knows what's in front of your life. He got us to make the decision to leave Paihakari and come down to Picton. We didn't know, but he knew that we would be soon back in Wellington being treated for this cancer problem. And so he sent us to a place where we could take advantage of free accommodation at the hospital for the whole 2 weeks he was in there. And that was a real boon to me, because all I had to do was get up early and walk over to the hospital, sit there all day with him, and then come back again in the afternoon or the evening, and then go have my shower, go to sleep, and do the same thing the next day. And it was so relaxing for me to be able to be there in that Margaret Stewart house on the hospital grounds. I didn't have to drive anywhere. The car was parking for free outside Margaret Stewart house. I made lots of friends at Margaret Stewart house. I no longer felt lonely like I had done for the previous 4 years of my life. And so everything was working in my favour, except that Keith was not well. But however, they assured us after the operation that he was going to be fine, that they had felt that they had got it all, and that they would just keep an eye on him. But for the next 2 weeks after this operation, of course, this man who's never been sick, well, was not able to cope with the after effects of an operation, and so he really was not very well for several days. He didn't really come right till maybe the 12th day. And then suddenly everything started working again for him, and so we spent 2 nights at the Margaret Stewart house together, just making sure that he was okay, with the district nurse coming over every day to dress his wound and to help him and show him how to change his own bag, because he came out of hospital with a bag that had his bowel on the outside. And so that's how we went from the diagnosis of only having piles to actually going through surgery of having a fairly large piece of bowel removed from him. And then they said for the next 6 to 8 months, maybe 12 months, you'd have to carry this bag on the outside of you for a while. But anyway, we coped with that. But that's how it all happened. And I wanted to share that story with you over these last few videos, because maybe you can relate to this. Maybe there's someone out there thinking, how am I going to handle this? And you'll see that I didn't at the very beginning. I didn't at all. But then I gained strength. And I think because I am close to the Lord, He knew what I needed. He knew I needed company. He knew I needed a change of scenery. He knew what was going to come up with Keith not being well. And had I had to go through all of that paperwork, I probably would have ended up in the mental home myself. Finally, because I've never actually made it there. So I've managed to get myself out of all those depression feelings by myself eventually. But so the Lord knew what was in store for us. He helped us make the decision. I mean, I got the strong feeling it's time to leave here. And we did. And we were only down in Picton for a few hours, and we were told we needed to come back to Wellington. But see, the Lord had all of that in hand. So maybe you're not a person who knows the Lord. I know Him. I love Him very much. And He has always been my guide in many things for many, many years now. I am grateful for having gone through that experience of knowing. It was just a miracle, really, that those few days of that week of making all these decisions when He knew what was going to happen and I didn't, and yet we were going on the right path, so that it would be all beneficial to me while Keith was in the hospital. So hopefully I've been able to help somebody by relating that little story to you over these last few videos. There are many times in my life I want to share with you now that I have started, and I will do that over the next few days, to see if I can reach out to someone so that you know a bit more about me as Debbie Nicholson. I know my blog's called Who is Debbie Nicholson, so maybe it's time now to actually start telling people who is Debbie Nicholson. And I'm going to start a new fan page called Who is Debbie Nicholson, and if you'd like to connect with me, my link is below, and I can teach you many things. I can relate to you many things. I'm looking forward to having new experiences with you as followers, and looking after the ones who have followed me and supported me over this last couple of years. Well, yes, it's nearly 2 years. Yeah, we've been here a year, and you know, so maybe 16, 18 months that they've supported me, but I'm really grateful to people who have done that. And so this is a whole new video series I'm starting. I've got far more confidence to do them now, and actually I've got far more confidence to start sharing things with people I have never ever told them before. Alright, well, let's stop this video. It's already 11 minutes too long, and I'll talk to you in the next one.